What's up, everyone? It's Cody with Money Investing. So here we are with another outperformance day for tech versus the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones. So I wanted to go live for a little bit. We'll probably do this for like 30 to 45 minutes. It's not going to be a super long live stream because I'm going to be spending some time with, of course, our Discord members going over some questions. They've got a lot of analyses that I want to go over. So we'll be doing that as well. Let me know in the live chat if you guys can see me without any issues. If you have if you have everything working, and then we'll get started. All right, so welcome on board. Let me know in the live chat if you guys can see the screen, if you guys can hear me okay, and we should be good to go. I got 11 people joining in, so here we are with the Nasdaq up another 34 basis points, and we got the Dow Jones about down 5 basis points. So thank you so much for joining in, and I'm just so excited. The reason I'm so excited is because we were talking about it. We were talking about it, days like for the last few days, like more so because we were seeing a rotation. We were seeing a rotation away from value to growth. We talked about Caterpillar, we talked about 3M, we talked about Foot Locker, the banking sector, we talked about financials. All were showing signs of a breakdown, right? So we were seeing this chart, which is the relative performance chart for the Nasdaq, to pick up, which is why we were expecting some type of a rotation away from some of the value over to technical tech and growth names. So Elizabeth, thank you so much for joining in. Excited too. Hello. Welcome on board. Michael, welcome on board as well. So here we are. Nasdaq new all-time high, 14,300. Target remains at 15K for the end of this year, so we got 6 months left to go. S&P is doing really well too, so new all-time high, not quite, but trading is at 42.52, up another 14 basis points. But it's the Nasdaq. By the way, if there's anybody took a trade on NNDM, I posted, of course, a video on it not too long ago. We're seeing a breakout in play right now. We had a really strong day yesterday, up over 6.3%, up another 7% today. So 867, the target stays at 975, closer to that level. But if anybody took the trade on this with a bull flag breakout, I'm just going to send an update very quickly for everybody. So hold on one second, bear with me. I'm just going to take a quick screenshot and send this over. But we've had some really interesting or amazing trades this week, right? If you're part of our Discord, if you're part of our Patreon as well, we've had some really nice trades on Fiverr, on Fubo TV, on Peloton, Spotify. So pretty much all the stocks this week have absolutely killed it. Matrix says, Caddy, chill, please, the markets are up, smile. Yes, I am smiling. So I watched your video on Sunday on NDM, bought early Monday morning, and I'm up 11%. Elizabeth, that's awesome. That's incredible. Congratulations. So Suarez says, NDM, I took the trade in the morning and it currently, and thank you, Caddy. Welcome. So this is what I love. I genuinely love this so much because the whole point of what we're doing here is to really help each other, right? It's really helpful for us to kind of share collectively our analyses, share feedback, share opinions, and help each other out. That's the whole goal for this community. It's not to, it's not going to be that I'm the only one who's winning or you're the only one who's winning. It's collectively that we're going to be, doing the analysis together. So I'm super excited and happy for you guys. And I am smiling. What are you guys talking about? I am smiling. This is good. All right, let me just send that update very quickly onto our updates chart. Yes, we'll talk about Tesla in just a second. Yes, we'll do a technical analysis on NEO as well. Just give me 1 second. All right, so that is good. I did see like a catalyst on Spotify and some of the other ones like, what is it? The ones that we talked about, like, so Spotify is up another 1%, but Roblox, take a look at this. Roblox is also up 1.5%. So let's take a quick look at Roblox, because Roblox we also talked about in our Sunday's video, so as a potential trade for next week, and also in our private Patreon video where there was 4 additional setups. You'll notice that we're up a little bit over 1.7%. So now we're starting to kind of see that reversal, right? We're over our 50 moving averages. So really pushing higher, and the 21 EMA, so $86 is kind of like the next target, but there is a lot of potential for Roblox. So if you are someone who took that swing trade, if you're in at $80, congratulations. There's more upside to come, in my opinion, for Roblox. So I would keep a close eye at 86 first, all the way to highs of 90, closer to $95. And of course, as the price moves up, keep a close eye at keep a close eye at the trailing the stop limit as well for this one. All right, so Dixon says bought Pubmatic last week. Thanks, Caddy. So again, Pubmatic was our trade from a few weeks ago. So that's awesome. So perfect. Thank you so much for joining in. I really appreciate that. So I had Autodesk, but sold it today with the gains. Autodesk, I think, is up today as well. Well, it was up. So this is a perfect example of our symmetrical triangle or the technical analysis piece. You'll notice that we were kind of trading inside this perfect lower highs and higher low pattern. So this was the complete trade setup. Now what we're expecting is eventually for us to see a breakout, but this is the analysis, right? The arrows you see. So that's going to be this piece over here, and we're getting rejected almost exactly at this lower high. So we did see a rally for the last 4 days, but we're seeing a little bit of a pullback moving forward. So Caddy, did you buy any other swing trades? I did. We had a trade on Fubo TV. We had a trade on and Fiverr. We had a trade on a lot of different things. A lot of them were ideas that I posted up there. So of course on YouTube and the Patreon as well. But yeah, I took the trade on Fubo. It was a good 11% trade. Let me see where is it trading right now. So yeah, pretty much flat down about just up 1% close to, but there is a resistance, near-term resistance close to 34.82. The stop limit got triggered on Fubo for me. All right, so let's take a look at Tesla here very quickly. So Tesla, strong day, so 648, 650 is a level. I mentioned it in our Discord this morning. $650 is the level to watch very closely, because that's the resistance, that's the overhead supply, that's also the cost breakdown. So when we looked at the 90% cost breakdown, we've got majority of people, basically investors, sitting at that level. So that right there, $650 is going to be the level to watch. Baba, I was also checking out Alibaba, which is up 2% right now. That's awesome. Yeah, we'll kind of break it down on this chart because I have some analysis on Alibaba. But just to quickly cover up Tesla, up over 4%, so strong day. But that's the resistance, 650. I'm watching very closely, and this has been the pattern for Tesla. And of course, speaking objectively, not to have like any type of a breakdown or anything, but I'm just saying that objectively speaking, this right here is the pattern, right? So bear flag, breakdown, bear flag. Potentially, not saying that it's going to happen, but that right there is the analysis, because we're hitting some type of resistance. That resistance is valid from these lower highs. So that right there is the level. Another reason why I wanted to go live today is because, or the last couple of days, it's because when we see a lot of green, there's one emotion that gets triggered among all of us as investors. What is that emotion? Let me know in the live chat if you guys know exactly which emotion that is when every time we see green. Like right now, if you take a look at tech and growth, there's one emotion that gets triggered a lot, which is why I wanted to go live and kind of go. So yep, so greed, euphoria, greed, yeah. So FOMO is another one, right? So fear of missing out and greed. So I wanted to put it as a cautionary tale that even though stocks are going up today, I'm not doing any buying. I'm just holding, right? I just bought one thing today, which is Mara. That's it. And only because it sold off aggressively yesterday, and today it's up just over 2%. But if it does continue to pull back and sell off, I'll add a little bit more. But I think Mara is the only stock that I actually purchased today. But other than that, did not do any buying, because right now is the time to hold. The time to position in tech was a few months ago. It was time to accumulate and position yourself. And now it's just time to kind of sit back and just look at the markets, observe what we're seeing, just from a relative perspective, and of course from the broader perspective as well. Yes, so we actually, NEO, my next purchase is going to be at $43. So for NEO, we did not buy anything yet. I did buy some like a few days ago, I think at 40 or even closer to 43. But right now my target's at $43. We were almost trading at that level yesterday, so 43.81. We didn't quite get to our 21 EMA, but if we get down there, that's going to be my next purchase price for NEO stock. All right, so let's take a look at some other stocks here. So Alibaba is continuing to trade inside this falling wedge. So this is the broader trend that I want to show you guys. So again, we're kind of trading inside these lower highs and lower lows. So that right there. So Max, Roblox or Nano Dimensions for a swing trade. So we already had swing trades on both, and right now they are currently in play. So I think video was posted over the weekend on that. All right, so what direction do you think NEO is headed towards? It's kind of hard to say right now. I mean, we're up a little bit over 3%, so we're getting that recovery. There was an interesting report that was shared with me on the Discord and in the comment section, which basically said that NEO is, or their Chinese name, I think it's like Willay or something, Willay Automobile Services or something, was accused of some false sales data. I'm actually doing some more research on that. I didn't find any news source basically covering that, so it was like a actual website, Chinese website that I like Labor of Statistics or Statistics Labor Bureau, something like that, that basically shared that report. So I'm actually doing some more research on that to really understand what's going on and if that's any truth to that report that was shared. But I'll take a look at that. So Alex, welcome on board. Thank you so much for joining. So Roblox alert just went off. Let's take a quick look on that. So up over 2% here, so $84. And again, we could see a reversal here in play for Roblox. So Max, this was one of the trades that we had for swing trades, and NDM is another one that is currently in play, up 6.8%. I posted an update on all 8 trades yesterday, or actually today on our Patreon, well, this morning for you guys. So if you're part of our Patreon, you should be able to see that, where that next resistance and support levels are going to be, and the current status, like kind of like my thoughts on each and every swing trade. For the most part, I think there's only one that we are currently still waiting on, and that's Upstart, UPST. Upstart is still kind of hovering around that 120, 123 level. This is a swing trade that was also presented to the Patreon members over the weekend, and we're still waiting on this because I feel like there's a lot of upside, close to 50% upside for Upstart, but we're just kind of gonna have to be very patient for this company, right? So again, they're in sort of like the software as a service company, tech, cloud-based, technological, AI. So they're obviously offering personal loans, but they're going to be doing auto loans as well in the future. So that's going to be a big market for them. So there's definitely asymmetric bet, so to speak. So if I can get it under 110, that's kind of like my price target, but looks like it's already on the move today. So up over 3.5%, but I'll see if it actually does come back down closer to 120. But of course, I mean, if you're a more aggressive trader, if you like to take a little bit more risk, then of course you can start a position here. Then your risk reward is kind of a little bit more, so 14% downside with a 36% upside. But if you wait a little bit longer, let the stock come to you, then your upside is 46-50%, downside is a little bit less, but it really depends on the type of risk tolerance you have. So that's why, every time I present these trade ideas, it's always best to do additional due diligence on them so that you can kind of formulate a strategy. I know a lot of people like to trade options on that instead of actually going full shares with those stocks. All right, so Tesla's breaking out over 650 here. Let's take a look. So 651, there we go. We are breaking out over that level, up another 4.4%. Coinbase is another stock that we actually did purchase yesterday. It's up another 2.5% today. I think there's a lot of potential for Coinbase too. Anything under 220, 217 levels is an easy no-brainer buy for myself. So NEO is up a little bit over 3.4%. Again, we're pushing higher. 4630 is the new resistance level to watch. We turned that level into a resistance yesterday. So Hani, the resistance level for NEO for today, 4630. That's the level to watch. And again, like I said in my previous video, there could be some more consolidation for NEO stocks. So this right here is the range I would watch for NEO, kind of hovering between $43 and $49.50, $50 per share. Kind of like form this bull flag on the broader trend, and then potentially see a breakout to the upside past $50 to retrace back up to $55. So I would watch $43 as a support, all the way as high as $49.50 as a resistance, and near-term resistance at close to $46.30 as well. All right, so did Info stock create a divergence? Let's take a look at Info. So it's going to be this IHS market. Strong uptrend here, so definitely pushing higher. Let's still look at the daily chart. So yes, so in my opinion, there is some form of divergence here. We are definitely seeing these higher highs being formed, while at the same time you'll notice that the RSI is making lower highs, and even the MACD line trading below the signal, but it's definitely forming some type of a bearish divergence here, so negative divergence. So that's something to keep in mind. But also one other thing to consider is the volume is relatively higher, so we're trading above the average 10-day volume. In the past, like the white line is the average 10-day volume, which is usually sitting at, 2 million, and we've actually been trading much higher than that. So yes, from a relative perspective, so relative strength index perspective in MACD, there's weaker breadth behind this move higher, but the volume is still there. So I'd be cautious at these levels, but allow it to basically see where that next resistance is going to be. Another thing I want to mention is, and one of the things that one of our Discord members brought up the other day was, where are the deals, right? Where are the actual deals? Like, where are the stocks that are undervalued that you can actually buy today, that are trading at a very reasonable valuation? And I can tell you, from a large cap perspective, even from like a mid cap perspective, there aren't as many deals as there were before. Like, if you pull up any stock, especially on the watch list that I have, most of them are trading either at or near all-time highs, right? Almost everything. So Upwork basically had a strong run today. So notice 1% gain today, but so Alibaba is a good deal. That's right, Alibaba is. We covered this in our previous video, but the only thing is that fundamentally undervalued, and yes, it's a great deal from a core business standpoint, but it's just the technicals, right? It's the market and the pricing in itself. It's the regulations, the constant scrutiny, and the investigations is what keeping it down substantially, right? That's why we're trading at 215, not 315. That's where I personally believe that Alibaba should be trading at $315, because it's very comparable to Amazon. It's like, comparable to Amazon with a core business of retail and of course cloud business in China, but it's just the market is pricing in that additional risk of the company being based in China. So I would still watch this falling wedge pattern as we continue to kind of fill in, and then see a potential breakout to the upside. Now again, this pattern doesn't always need to fill in all the way. We could see a breakout already in play right now. If we can get a breakout over 224, 225, that would really represent that we're seeing some type of a trend reversal for Alibaba moving forward. So 225, that's a resistance coming in from June 1st. So that's the level that you'll notice that we got rejected at over here. And of course, a successful breakout over this level, come back down, retest that support, and then break out to 247 is going to be a successful trend reversal for the stock. All right, so let's take a look at Tesla here, 652, up another 4.6%, definitely seeing a strong move. So the upside, Roblox is up another 2.2%. We got Palantir, look at that. Palantir up another 3% here. So yeah, that's still like the rising wedge, right? We're still trading inside that rising wedge. Let's see if we find any type of resistance here, or if we can get a push higher, consistent push, beyond this level to basically trade higher, close to $30. But this is still the rising wedge. I would keep that intact unless it gets broken out of and is no longer valid. So we'll keep that intact here. Square up another 2.4%, trading past over 242. So look at this. Our daily market update, we posted that resistance at 243, the high for the day, 243, right on the dot. So I could see a little bit of a pullback here from Square, unless there's a lot of volume that kicks in to break us out eventually over 243. So that would be the level to watch for Square moving forward. So damn, Tesla burned me today. I thought it would dump at open after a bull trap. Oh gosh. What did you do? Did you buy what did you get after the open? Just let us know in the live chat. But I'm using, so what software I'm using is it automatically charting wedges and support. So Michael, I'm using TradingView. So I use TradingView as the platform or as the software that I use to chart analysis. And no, it doesn't actually automatically chart the wedges or the support levels, but you can get access to my charts, which will automatically do that for you if you join our Patreon. But I use TradingView. This is the software, and I actually again share all these charts. This is the relative performance chart that we use. This is the VIX and the VXN. We've gone over this several times as well. So the link should be down in the description below. It's a free platform that you can actually start using. And if you really like the platform, if you get familiar with it, then you can use them in the future as well. But that's the platform I use, and all the charts are available to sync automatically for all of our Patreon members. So can you take a look at Neo thinking about adding a contract? Oh, so Gus, you got 10 puts. Oh man, that was a risky trade as it is. So June 25th, expiring Friday. That's expiring Friday. I mean, the theta on that and the delta, like the volatility on that would have been crazy on that as it is. So would you consider Tesla as a deal, considering it is or was about 40% from its highs? It's kind of it's really a question, what the future is for Tesla right now. And I think a lot of it really depends on the execution for autonomous driving, robo-taxis, and of course their execution in China, right, and Europe. So that's the big story. I think as we learn more about the company over the next few quarters, and again, I am very optimistic on Tesla's future, I think it's a stock that should be fairly valued at $1,000 per share, right? That's my price target. I see Tesla being at least $1,000 per share in the future, because think about the market, right? We're talking about almost 100 million units per year that need to eventually be using electric vehicles across the world, right? Whether we've got different timelines, like China has a target of 2030, 2035, India has a target of 2035, the United States has a target, so every country is different in terms of timeline, but we're all moving in that same direction. So I see Tesla, and if they can come out with a $25,000 closer to $20,000 model, it's game over for a lot of other OEMs. It's going to be game over, and then my price target is going to get pushed up higher even more. Because if they're going to penetrate markets in India, I can tell you from my own experience, having lived here my entire life, there's going to be a very, very small percentage of consumers paying upwards of like $50,000 or $60,000 or $70,000 for an electric vehicle, let alone the Plaid S, the Model S Plaid that came out over $100,000. So they need to, especially in these developing countries, they need to come out with a lower price model in order to do volumes and reach economies of scale to really, really bring those numbers to reality, right? 5 million by this year, 1 million by this year, 5 million by 2025. That's the real game here for Tesla, is to do a few things. So yeah, so the roads, I mean, they're gonna have to do something about the suspension, definitely. I mean, obviously with the speed breakers that we have here in India, definitely they need to do something, and they're going to be tailored to different markets, right? Of course they make them differently, exterior, interiors, depending on where they're producing these cars, where they're assembling them, and of course where they're shipping them to. So it really depends on where those cars are going. But $1,000, kind of like my price target over the next 12 months. We'll see if it's going to come into fruition. So Bilal says, me from Pakistan, it's horrible. Yeah, tell me about it. It's the same thing in India. All right, so let's take a look at, so Tesla up 652. That's the level that we need to kind of hold up intraday. NIO is also pushing higher, 3.82%. We're almost trading at as high as like 45.85, so 46.30 is the resistance intraday. So QQQ is up another 11 basis points. So this basically means that we're seeing the Nasdaq pull back slightly relative to the S&P 500. So if you go over to this chart. By the way, crypto with a bounce here. Yesterday we caught the crypto sell-off live on the live stream. On the live stream, and we saw Bitcoin break below 30,000. We saw Ethereum break down below 1800. So that was a pretty steep sell-off, but now we're getting a little bounce back higher. So, all right, QQQ is up another 25 basis points, and SPY is up another 14 basis points as well. The VIX is coming down 3%. So trading at 16, and look at this. The low for the day was 14.86. This was the first reading at 14.8 that we're getting for the first time since the pandemic started. If I pull back on the chart, you'll notice that we have never, in over a year since February of 2020, the VIX hasn't dipped down to 14.86. This usually is a cue to go long on the S&P, only because we're seeing a significant breakdown Well, there's two ways to look at it. There's two schools of thought here. The first one is that, all right, so we're trading at a support level. The expectation is that we're going to see a push higher. So we're going to see this move to the upside from the VIX, which is going to result in the S&P coming down. That's scenario number one. The second one is that we're actually going to see a breakdown. So what we're seeing is we're seeing a breakdown for the VIX, and we're going to continue down to the next support, which is going to be 10. That's going to result in the S&P to really take off and move higher. So depending on which camp you are, you can kind of execute your trades along with that. I like to kind of buy when the VIX is higher, when it's trading at an overbought or kind of like this spiked levels, which is what's going to cause the VIX to come back down and the S&P to push up higher. Same with the VXN. That's a volatility on the Nasdaq 100. You'll notice that we're coming down below 20 levels, so now we're trading at 19.8. And of course, the support from June 11th and 10th is sitting roughly at 19 levels. So we'll kind of mark that out today. So that would be the level to watch. See if we can get that breakdown below that level, but that would still be over 1 year low for the VXN. We broke down a couple things yesterday. So Satoshi says rotation from value to growth stocks. Yes, that's what we're seeing. Welcome. That's what we are seeing exactly. So another thing I want to point out, and we talked about it, in our previous market updates, is if you look at the Dow Jones. So let me just pull that up and really go over exactly what I'm witnessing here. So the Dow Jones here, you'll notice that we are pretty much flat, right? We're flat, and this is the analysis that we shared in our live streams. If you were a part of it, we shared 3 different scenarios, right? 3 scenarios that are going to potentially play out for the Dow Jones in the future. And I'm going to share the probabilities and my personal opinion on what's potentially going to happen. So you'll notice that the Dow Jones had this huge rally, right? A strong uptrend, consistent validation of those moving averages. And very recently, what we started to witness was we witnessed a breakdown, right? That's what we saw, the breakdown below those moving averages. Usually when that happens, that's a sign of a trend reversal. It doesn't happen very often, right? It takes a lot of selling pressure to actually break down certain moving averages. We saw that with Tesla, we saw that with NIO. It took us months to get back over. It took us months for tech to gain that momentum again, right? So once momentum gets broken, it's incredibly challenging for individual stocks, for cryptos, for indices to gain that momentum back by breaking out over those moving averages. Now in the case of Dow Jones, you'll notice that we sold off, and we talked about how there were 3 reasons why we saw the recovery on Monday with the Dow Jones coming back 1.76%. The RSI, very oversold. 5 consecutive days of red for the Dow Jones, and the yields pushed up higher, which caused the tech-heavy Nasdaq to come back down. So now what we're seeing is we're seeing a little bit of a rejection here. So usually when these support levels get broken, we backtest them as a resistance. That's what we're seeing right now. And we're seeing a lot of indecision for the Dow Jones, pretty much flat. So I can tell you in the markets right now, they're thinking, are we going to see a breakout over these moving averages back over? Or if we're going to see a little bit of a curling pattern where this basically comes back down. Wrong tool there. This basically comes back down like that and starts making lower lows even further, right? That's the real question. So the 3 scenarios that I was talking about, scenario number 1, we hit that moving average and then we sell off even further for value, right? So we make lower lows. Scenario number 2, we break out those moving averages, but this is the downtrending channel, the 2 green lines you see on the chart, and we continue to kind of form these lower highs and lower lows. And scenario number 3 is that we break out and we continue on this uptrend. So we push higher, make higher highs and higher lows, and just continue on this uptrend. So, and I asked you guys, I think a lot of people said scenario 1 or scenario 2, some people said scenario 3, but again, feel free to kind of chime in and whatever you guys think is potentially going to be the outcome. But I strongly believe it's going to be scenario either 1 or 2, because even if it's going to be 3, it's going to be at a very lower pace relative to growth in tech. So I would not be surprised if you do get a little bit of a breakout here and then get rejected at these lower highs, continue to kind of trade in this downtrending channel for the Dow Jones. And let's take a look at the Nasdaq, 14,300, so hitting new all-time highs. Was forming a little bit of a bull flag, then we saw a breakout here. So Eric says the best technicals on the net. Thank you for your research. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. That means a lot. So do you still believe Tesla can retrace down? That's a great question. So the chart that we shared here today was was still the chart that, if you look at the broader perspective, we're still inside this downtrending sort of channel, right? So let me actually see if I can remove some of these lines so it's much clearer. So that's one. So that's one of the lines that we're going to move up a little bit, trend line, and we're going to also move these two lines. I'm going to delete this. So right now what you'll notice the pattern, right now we're pushing higher, but you'll still notice that we're still in between these two green lines, right? We're still trading in between these higher highs and higher lows. And if you look at the broader trend, if you kind of might zoom out even further, you'll notice that this lower high is the pattern that we're also forming. So if 650, if that intersection you guys see right here, it's going to be more so like at 667 or 650 to 667 or like 695, or no, 650 to like 680 levels. That's also the cost concentration, right? On people, we looked at where majority of the investors are sitting. So that intersection, you guys see the lower highs right here and the higher highs inside this uptrending channel. If we can have a clean breakout over that level with heavier volume, then I would feel a lot more confident for Tesla's price action to have some follow through and push up even higher, right? Breakout over 700, breakout over 775. But if for any reason we find resistance or rejection here at 650 to as high as 675 inside this lower high, if we continue to kind of form this channel, then I would not be surprised if we do see a little bit of a pullback for Tesla as well, right? So I would keep this intact until after we get a successful clean breakout on heavier volume. That would make me more confident on Tesla. All right, so NIO's up almost 4% on the day. We're trading past 45.85. The high for the day 45.96. So let's see if we get to 50s by the end of next week. 50s, yeah, 50 is possible because that would still be the range. So 49.50 is kind of like the level that I would still watch for NIO. But 46.30 is the near-term resistance that we need to see a breakout over. The interesting thing is if you can break the high of yesterday, 46.55, and close above that level, that would be a good bullish engulfing candle, and that could lead to some more follow through. So the price target that I'm putting on for NIO on the day that it needs to close, in my opinion, is going to be 46.55. 46.55. If you can get a close above that level, then I would feel a lot more confident for us to see $50, by the end of this week or by the end of this week or next week. So bull trap, personally, again, when we talk about bull traps, we have to talk them about in the context of the broader trend. So what I meant, what we talked about with the Dow Jones could have been the bull trap on Monday, right? Because now we're seeing a breakdown for the Dow Jones, and now we're seeing a little bit of a recovery on Monday. So it's trading below those moving averages. It's a downtrending pattern. And when you see those recoveries, that could be considered as a bull trap. When we're already trading above those moving averages, when the trend is in your favor, it's pushing higher, making higher highs and higher lows. Perfect examples could be like companies, like Microsoft, right? Like Microsoft, if it pulls back and then rallies tomorrow, it can be seen as a bull flag only because it's already in an uptrend. The trend is in your favor, right? So we're already pushing higher. A bull flag could be, or a bull trap could be, if you're breaking down and then you see a rally on weaker breadth and then we sell off even further, right? So that's also kind of not the dip that you're buying, it's mostly the correction that we're buying. The dip is usually in an uptrend. It's an uptrend and we're seeing a little bit of a dip, you buy that and then it continues to kind of validate that support and continue to push up higher. All right, so let's take a look. So all right, can we review Pinterest, AMD testing? All right, so let's talk about AMD very quickly. We haven't talked about AMD in a while. So AMD up another, 60 basis points, trading past over $84. That's the level that I would watch. Nothing really for us to go over for AMD. It's just been kind of flat, kind of like not doing anything. So 84 resistance, $80 support. If it comes down to $80, I'll be buying. But other than that, Shopify has been on a complete rally here. It's just been coming out of nowhere from $1,000 to like $1,500, 48% jump since like the middle of May. So absolutely incredible. Year to date, I think it's now up over 34%. That is incredible for Shopify. So Amazon pulling back. We're down roughly 0.5% here. So again, we're seeing a little bit of a pullback, but we're still in an uptrend here. So that's good. Next resistance sits at 35.60. Apple slightly down. Yes, we can take a look at XPeng as well. Let's look at XPeng here. So XPeng also validating that moving averages and support. So we did see a crazy rally for XPeng, right? So this right here, jump of 98%. Wow. I mean, to be fair, XPeng also went down more than NEO did. I mean, XPeng was down almost 70% from its all-time highs. Like 70% versus 40% for NEO. I think XPeng deserves like 100% double up here, as opposed to NEO going up 50% from the lows. So I think it makes sense because XPeng was absolutely, running past here, like in the beginning of this year or like end of last year going into this year. It was absolutely crazy, but 70% drop was, I think it was a little bit of an overreaction from the markets. But 37.60 is the support. Let's see who asked. Manny and Han. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, but Manny and Han. 37.60 is going to be the support. 46.20 is the resistance, and that's again going to be the range to watch for XPeng. Very similar to NEO, which is sitting at roughly 49.50 resistance and $43 support. So Vishal says, dude, I bought options for DDD a few days ago and the stock went up 30% yesterday. My year has been made. That's awesome. That's great. Oftentimes, there's only a few ideas. We only need a few ideas in a year, a few great ideas in a year to actually make it worthwhile, right? It doesn't have to be in and out of a lot of trades, although that's fun. You can definitely do that with a small percentage of your portfolio if you're really into that. But definitely we only need a few great ideas to actually make it worthwhile for the full year, right? So if you have one stock, like think about how simple we can keep things. Had you just at the beginning of this year, had you just bought this stock, Google, and held it for like till now, 6 months in, you would have been up 45%, right? For absolutely doing nothing, just owning one stock, no analyses, like no fundamentals, no technicals, and just bought this stock and then sit on 45% gains, right? Beating the S&P, beating the NASDAQ, beating, I'd say majority of the stocks in the market right now. That's again, it's very difficult to kind of identify a pinpoint. All right, so this is the stock that year that's going to go up 50%. That's the tough part, right? Identifying which one that is. And of course, not buying blindly, having at least some basic understanding of how to read charts, how to identify patterns, how to understand support resistance levels, so you're not buying at the very top. Because Google has definitely followed this uptrend. Like I can tell you, it's just been same exact pattern. It's like clockwork. Well, Google pushes up, consolidates, breaks out, consolidates, breaks out. So like bull flag, breakout, bull flag, breakout. Even on a microscopic level, it's now like bull flag, breakout. Bull flag, I'm expecting a breakout now, up to at least like 2,600. Yeah, so one faster says I would never put all my money in one stock. I hold 200. Wow, 200, huh? That's incredible. All right, so the NASDAQ is pulling back a little bit. Let's take a look at the IXIC. We're up 27 basis points, and the Dow Jones slightly down about 3 basis points here, and the SPX up 9 basis points. So yes, we have discussed Palantir. We've discussed a lot of different stocks here. So, yes, that is correct. A bull trap is unlikely because of an uptrend right now for NEO. Now, of course, from an uptrend perspective, what we need to really monitor is overbought levels. I think that's more of a case for NEO or any other stock that's in an uptrend. Is it overbought, right? Is it, technically speaking, is it overbought? And if we can expect some type of a pullback or not. But yeah, you're right about that. Gabe says, why isn't NEO 500 by now? You promised me. 500, wow. Yeah, 500 is a pretty steep price for NEO. I think over the long term, they'll have to do some real wonders for NEO to be $500 per share, is what I think, in my opinion. As big of a market as China is, I mean, if you just look at the market cap, And of course, all over the world again. Uh, Things can go parabolic, and of course, they've got new houses, they've got a lot of different things, very user centric companies. Um, yeah, 500 for Neo means bigger market cap than Tesla. It's going to be almost half a trillion, a lot more than that. So Michelle says there's no feeling quite as good as rotation into growth. That is true. That is very true. So Guillermo asks, what do you think about Citibank C stock? So we actually had somebody ask me on that on Discord. So this was the breakdown that we saw for Citigroup, right? And across all banking stocks. So it really depends. I mean, yields have been pushing higher. So I feel like with a lot of sectors, there's specific things that we need to focus on. With energy, Exxon, Chevron, we need to monitor oil prices. With banking, we need to monitor yields and interest rates. So yields more specifically. For tech, we need to monitor interest rates and inflationary risks, right? So with Citigroup, it's really a question of whether you see yields continue to trend down or whether you see them going higher. Because what happened with the yields since August, this is a 250% gain, right? 250% gain resulted in a lot of stocks, including Bank of America, just surging. Like this is a 85% move. Wells Fargo, same story, jumped over 127%. Now I will mention that this right here, again, a reversal trade, right? This is a reversal trade. We're seeing that retest of those moving averages. The question again becomes whether we're going to see a breakout of those moving averages or a rejection here and then a breakdown for Wells Fargo even further. This is the trend reversal that we're talking about. Same thing with Bank of America, right? We're seeing a little bit of a retest of those moving averages, and this was actually a short trade that I didn't really post. Should have posted to at least for our Patreon members. They could have taken advantage of it. But I didn't feel confident on this breakout, and this huge candle on June 17 took us down over 4% for Bank of America, broke down below those moving averages, and now we're starting to sell off even further. But for Citigroup, I think the support level to watch would be at $68. Previous resistance, validated support. The R side, the MACD, again, very oversold. So it would make sense why we at least see a follow through up to like 73. That's going to be a jump of 6%, at least retrace back up to those moving averages, similar to what we're seeing for Bank of America, Wells Fargo. But longer term, over the next few months to a few years, really depends on the business model, of course, and where the yields are going to be moving forward. So yeah, thank you so much, you guys. I really appreciate all the great comments today. I thank you so much, and this is what makes this community so great. So Ruby, thank you so much for joining in, and I really respect you as well. So thank you so much for everything. All right, so let's break down a few more stocks, and then we'll go over some other things. So Prasad says, good to see the entire portfolio up 7% on a day. Thanks for all the help and the trade ideas. Thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate that. That's awesome. And again, feel free to share these stories on Discord too, right? The more people that we have, I feel like, sharing all these great comments and these stories, I think is very contagious. So I think more people are going to get motivated into taking action and doing what's best for them, right? So I think it's very, very, very helpful. Gabe, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. All right, so this is going to be a relative performance chart that I'm going to be sharing, or I'm going to keep this intact. I'm just going to go over one more time. We actually had a tutorial on this that we shared because I want to make it very clear to everyone who's part of the Patreon here. So I'm going to go to the post. So I post all these charts for you guys, right? So if you want to get access to these are available to you. So these are the TradingView chart links that I include for everybody. So again, these are the TradingView chart links. If you come down a little bit, you'll notice that we have the main chart that has tech. This includes all the analysis for all growth stocks. And the one that I'm looking at right now, the relative performance, is going to be this one. Right, so that's going to be the relative performance chart. We've got crypto charts, so that's going to be BTC, Ethereum, Dogecoin if you're interested. We've got the select sector indices as well. So all you have to do, you don't need to have a paid account with TradingView. You need to have nothing like that. It's completely free for TradingView for you to sign up. All you have to do is copy those links and then paste them in a browser. That's it, and you'll get access to these automatically synced over. Every time I make changes, the changes will be for you as well. All right, so let's go over to Tesla and NIO. Let's take a quick look on where we're trading, and then we'll call it a live stream. So 651, 4.5% gain. All right, so this is the wrong chart. I don't want to mess with this one. All right, we're gonna go over to this one. Yep, so 650, 675, so that's going to be the range that we need to watch very closely. So I would continue to kind of monitor that intersection between these lower highs and the higher highs for Tesla stock. How is the 5S30s chart looking? What is that? Is that a ticker symbol, Gabe? Just let me know what you're talking about and I'll take a look. But NIO, let's take a look, up 3.4%, so 46.30 is the resistance. We get up to as high as $46 today, so still a pretty solid day. Coinbase is running 229 now, up over 3.3%. You know, and 250 is kind of like the near term target. Just bought a leave option for NIO $6 strike price. Look at the pattern category. We just did. We just looked at NIO stock price. Yeah, so we just looked at it. All right, so Caterpillar, Caddy, where do you think Tesla will close on Friday? I think it's going to be closing right at or around 650 levels. What is it today? Today is Wednesday, right? Yeah, so a couple more days. I think it's going to close at and around 650. If we could get a little bit of a push higher now that we're breaking out over those moving averages. So another thing to remember here is that we're seeing a breakout over the 50 EMA and the 50 SMA, right? That's the two lines right here. So we could see some more follow through. But just from a price action standpoint, that intersection you see at close to 675, anything between 650 and 675 are the levels. Like we're literally trading at 650 and we're up 4.2%, 420. It's crazy. The irony with Tesla stock across so many different levels is incredible. Amazon may be down today. I think a couple days it was up because of Prime days, so we were seeing a rally almost at near all-time high levels. So again, you know, the RSI was overbought, the MACD was overbought. We had a push higher of over 11% from 31.72. You know, so it's very normal. It's very normal for us to see a pullback. It comes down to 34.40. That's the next support level. 35.60 is the next resistance level to watch for Amazon. All right, that's that. So a little bit turning red here for some of the companies. So you'll notice that Amazon is actually red, of course. Visa is down. We've got Plug Power that's down over 4%. Let's take a look at AMC and where that's trading. Up 43 basis points. We're still struggling at $60. You know, that's the level that we have talked about. It's just fighting that level right now. You know, $60. We're just struggling to consistently close above that level. Right? So $60 is the resistance here for AMC stock. So the more these bonds get closer together, the more volatility. AMD, Marcus, we covered AMD earlier, but I can go over that for you once again. But AMC, $60, $61 is kind of like the resistance. 77 is the next target, but we need to get a breakout. This is just the volume is just. I think the volume is the big reason for AMC. You'll notice that it's just been a declining volume for the past 4 days. If today we don't break past 185, that's going to be a little bit of a problem for. And again, it doesn't mean if the volume hasn't picked up this week, it's not going to pick up next week, right? Because of course the options chain changes every week, and we could see a lot of volume pick up once again, as we saw, like, you know, in January, and then we kind of slowed down, we died down, and then this is again the volume has picked up substantially. So I feel like last couple of weeks have just been AMC kind of cooling off after this huge rally, and as long as everyone can kind of hold above that support level or hold above like the $50 level, eventually, of course, with the board fees for short interest and everything else, they're gonna have to make some decisions. Yep, so 54 million shares traded right now versus 211, but the volume is the big driver here for AMC. We need to see more volume kick in to bring it past over $60. All right, price target for Clover. Let's take a look. Clover was actually rallying today, right? Up over 7%. Yeah, so this was also another short interest stock. This was actually, I'm going to be very honest, this was actually a stock that we got stopped out at because we were expecting a reversal earlier, but we actually did break down, and now we're seeing that rally coming from $11. It's up 29-30%. But yeah, it really depends on the short interest on the stock and where it sits. I don't have the real-time data on it, but you'll notice that we're green on the day, but we have a red candle. What does that tell you? If you guys have been watching the live stream long enough, or any of my videos, if we have a green day but a red candle, what does that tell you for the stock? What does that tell you for the stock if we have a green day? So Clover is up over 7.5%, but we have a red candle here. And you guys know that I have this unchecked. Color bars based on previous lows. If I check this off, it's going to turn into a green candle. But I keep this unchecked. Why? So let me know in the live chat if you guys know the answer. Yes, we can look at Upstart as well. We can look at Upstart. I think it was like, what is it? So I keep this red to get a good understanding of the intraday price action. So right now, just by looking at the red candle, we can get a good understanding that we're seeing a lot of selling take place intraday without even having to look at the 5-minute or the 1-minute chart. Weak momentum. So Akash is absolutely right. So there's weak momentum because even though it's green, the red candle represents that we opened higher, but we are closing in, or we're trading much lower. So we were opened at 1454. And we're trading at 1355. So there's a weak momentum, so they're actually intraday selling. So now that you go over to the 5-minute chart, you go over this, you'll notice that as soon as the market's opened here at 9:30, we're seeing a drop for Clover Health, a little bit over 6% drop. So we were much higher earlier, right? So that's the selling pressure that's coming in intraday from 9:32. That's the downtrending channel. So so you're saying it's a good time to buy puts back on Clover. Got it. But yeah, we also left a gap. That's also a great point that somebody brought up, that we also left a gap. So Philip said that. So yeah, usually when these stocks do gap up higher, we're coming back down to kind of fill this gap before making the next move in either direction. All right, guys. So it's been real fun. Shorter live stream today because I'm going to be spending some time with our Patreon and Discord members. Don't forget, Webull link and the Patreon link is going to be down in the description below. July is going to be another month. We're going to open up some spots for everybody who wants to join. But also take a look at our Webull link if you guys want to get started with that brokerage. Deposit $100 and you will get 2 free stocks worth to $18.50. But thank you so much for joining in. And again, great comments. I'm super excited for you guys' growth and of course the profit that you guys have achieved today and of course over the last few days. Kelsa, I will put an update on Fubo TV over at our Patreon and Discord. I'll definitely update you over there as well. But I definitely need to spend some time with them, answer any questions, go over some analyses, and go over some trade ideas with them as well. So thank you so much for joining in. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys. Make sure that you like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And as always, happy investing. I'll see you guys in the next video. Love you guys. Peace.